by the way, Matt is coming out. No, 100%, Matt. Like everyone, not everyone. I've had a girlfriend since we've been friends that I've been seeing.
You're the gayest guy I know.
And she said, Matt is 100% gay. I mean, it's just true. I think you should be honest about it on the
What's
podcast.
Alfie like? Alfie's going, no, absolutely not.
Yeah. I mean, he's always walking around with his todger out. So
yeah, that doesn't mean anything really, but he's just super, super touchy and loves, always trying to, and when I say every, I mean
sticky fingers.
Last two girls that I've been sort of seeing who have spent time with you have both said that you are, two? No, just one. No, Mel. She said that you are very, very, very gay. Very gay.
All right, so we're back. We're here, BoredMan Podcast. We're having a boys-only pod as a little sidestepper. Don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube. The Instagram is popping. TikTok's doing okay, but we need the YouTube up. People are watching, but they're not subscribing. So please, please, please go and subscribe. There we go. So
in addition to that, I've got to say a big thank you to all the followers and fans so far, because I think we've done pretty well on Instagram and some of the socials. But we'd like to grow, and so far so good. So
I think what we're doing is we're underlining how many episodes we've done. And we're saying, we've got to a good amount of followers. I think we're 35,000 followers on Instagram. We've got 8,000 subscribers on YouTube and about 4,000 or 5,000 on TikTok. So, and I think we've done, 12 episodes?
Yeah.
So it's a good sort of steady number. So now we've got to sort of just, decide how to push it forward next. The good thing is we've got two of our biggest guests coming on the next two episodes. Well, they're by far our biggest guests in terms of what they do. So that's going to be interesting.
Maybe we can announce the next one, the first one.
Who is it?
Who is it?
Eddie fucking Hall.
Eddie Hall, the Beast.
Eddie the Beast Hall.
Strongest man in the world.
Strongest man in the world. Household name here in the UK. If you don't know who Eddie Hall is, you should. And he's a massive, massive personality. Done unbelievable stuff. Huge following, 3.5 million followers on Instagram. Yeah,
biggest recorded deadlift of any human, half a ton, 500 kilograms off the floor. I think is still like the world record from 5 years ago.
So we're excited to drop him. His episode is going to come out next week. So check that out. Like I said, he's got a huge fan base and following. 3.5 million.
Yeah.
And all round, genuinely lovely man. He's a great guy.
Yeah. All right, so that's that. And then I guess for the last month, we've been doing the podcast. We've also travelled around Eastern Europe, spent a month in Eastern Europe. We drove to Turkey, spent some time in Turkey. Then we drove up into Sofia, Bulgaria, spent a week there, into Romania, and then into Belgrade. And I think the highlight of the trip was Serbia, was Belgrade. It was unbelievable, wasn't it?
It was unbelievable.
I think Bulgaria and Serbia, like massively underrated countries.
Yeah, I'd love to go back. And a lot of people are saying that Bulgaria is amazing during the winter period where you can go skiing. So it's a different experience.
I just loved it. I think the setup there, it was clean. Food was great.
Yeah. People are respectful.
Food was great.
I don't know how people will interpret this, but there was a lot more women than men, which I think generally is quite good. Anyway,
for men, yeah. I mean, the ratio was
just
amazing.
Safer as well, and just lots of different things.
It felt safer for the girls or the women. Basically, the women you'd be in London. You wouldn't see a woman on her own eating food normally that often
at midnight.
But I would say there were mainly the people that were eating was just women on their own eating food. And I think the men are more respectful there of the women.
And just like going out in general, like you'd see like women and girls going out nights out, and then they'd walk home late at night, and it would just be like, whoa. Like,
I think it was an eye-opener because I think they're laughing at us. I think they're laughing at Western Europe, Bulgaria, people like countries like Bulgaria, Serbia. We didn't go to Macedonia, was it? No. Was it Macedonia?
North Macedonia, but
North
we didn't
Macedonia,
go.
no.
There was another one as well.
We drove through North Macedonia. Montenegro was pouring with rain, but the pictures looked unbelievable. Yeah. And everybody who's been to Montenegro said it's unbelievable.
But it's just, I think they're just laughing at Western Europe. I think those kind of countries are like, we've got our own stability, we've got our own economy. We're not worried about all this news and all this popular Western belief.
We're just doing our own thing. They've had communism, right? So they're in a lot of those countries. I think there's 8 countries in Eastern Europe, right? And a lot of them have had a socialist environment. So their parents have said, look, if the government says stay in your house, don't stay in your house. If you look at what's happening in China at the moment, obviously I'm getting some work done in China, some stuff built there. And the lady that is doing a lot of the manufacturing, she said that they're locked in their house. And I said, is that not really bad? She said, well, we've got this zero COVID policy.
What are you going to build there? Dildos?
Actually, looks like dildos.
They look like
by the way, Matt is coming out. No, 100% Matt. Like everyone, not everyone, I've had a girlfriend since we've been friends that I've been seeing.
You're the gayest guy I know.
And she said, Matt is 100% gay. I mean, it's just true. I think you should be honest about it on the podcast.
Alfie's going, no, absolutely not.
Yeah. I mean, he's always walking around with his todger out. So
yeah, that doesn't mean anything really. But he's just super, super touchy and loves. Always trying to. And when I say every, I mean
sticky fingers.
Last two girls that I've been sort of seeing, who have spent time with you, have both said that you are two. No, just one. No, Mel. She said that you are very, very, very gay. Very gay. And you just did something with your with thingy bob.
No, I'll take it.
You said we were going to have an open podcast. You just did something.
Mate, wait there. You're forgetting that your gay man reel had like 230,000 views because
great.
As soon as I said gaming, you clicked and thought, "Ooh, gay men." So you've obviously got something on your brain working, mate. We're all open.
I was looking at you when I said
fine.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
So Matt, are you sort of 10% gay? No, just if he takes a while to answer, then it 100% means he's 10% gay.
I'm not gay at all, sadly for you. But I will sleep in the same bed as you tonight.
Are you? Every joke is like, let's get in bed, let's do this. Can we go and have a cuddle?
Innuendo.
Yeah. Look, I'm just very comfortable and open with my sexuality.
Overly comfortable.
All
right, so are you gay? Yes or no?
No. Sorry.
Do you like playing with your bum?
Did you see he just swallowed his? That's a big swallow then. All right, okay, that's that one. Serbia. I think I'll tell you where it was amazing. Bulgaria. We went to Sofia, the capital of Bulgaria, and we didn't know what to expect. Very clean, architecture's amazing,
cheap, super cheap,
very cheap. Yeah. But went to these bars and clubs, and they're like basically like being in a club in London. I'd say better than being in a club in London.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. The entertainment was just like full on. There was like things to watch.
Where was that? Where was Lafayette? Was that
Belgrade?
That was Serbia. Yeah.
We went to a place called Carousel in Sofia, and I said to Mel, like, how comes you're not like sort of guys aren't looking at you and everything? You dressed amazing. You look really good. And she said, well, because you guys are here. Everyone would just fight in an instant if you look at a girl for too long. It's just a level of respect, which is really nice, I think. Mm-hmm. Not the fighting part, but the respect part. So yeah, then we went. That was amazing. And then Belgrade was unreal, unbelievable. I don't know if it's because we had friends there that hooked us up and took us around and Euros.
Serbia and Bulgaria were on par for me. I'm trying to think which
getting
one was
into
better.
the country was quite strange, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
If you ever cross the border experience. We came from Romania, which was.
Oh shit!
Bit of a shock.
You know, no disrespect to Romanian people; they're lovely, but the country was just in dire straits. It was just like I couldn't explain it. It was just you had like homeless people to buildings being like boarded up.
Remember the kid chased our car?
Oh yeah,
it was like chasing our car.
No, Romania did feel, and we've been to a lot of places, but Romania did feel kind of dangerous. Yeah. And also, like half
everyone says it's not dangerous.
But I don't see that because
derelict.
Half the people, half the people in my hotel were in army uniform. Like half people were like, there must be a base near that hotel.
Yeah.
There were quite a lot of racist people there. People were shouting stuff out to you in the street.
Yeah, and it was like going back home.
Go home. Yeah.
It's quite funny.
Yeah, so then it's just like it gets you back up, and then all of a sudden you're on the wrong foot. And yeah, I mean, it's hard because compared to Bulgaria and Serbia, they were so levels above in terms of for us. But that's just us as like Westerners.
But I think we went to Romania for a very short period of time. I think the thing for me was, and this is a good sort of summary if you go to a place. I remember seeing the McDonald's sign.
Oh yeah.
And it was like 30 years old.
Yeah.
And you think, okay, McDonald's haven't even paid to update their shit here.
Yeah.
So you think, it felt a little bit. I hope this doesn't go down bad, but it felt a little bit like Chernobyl. It felt like we were in a place that was derelict.
Yeah.
Like shit, things were just hanging off. Like the buildings were just like.
Well, I feel bad for the people living there, but you're not kind of welcomed, right? We weren't like welcomed in the way in Serbia. Like it felt so friendly, and everyone was so nice. And we were told about this club called Lafayette, and it's definitely the best night experience I've ever had. Mm-hmm. Like we literally would turn around and we'd look at each other. My mouth would be wide open.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to.
It was like an immersive theatre experience.
Yeah.
But it was like things were going off, like
Yeah.
acrobats and
Yeah.
you know, things being blown up. And
Yeah.
you had like the Joker riding in on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
It was the
just
best mix
incredible.
between a club and like a show and a
Yeah.
theatre and a theatrical like experience all in one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've been to
And
like
classy as well, not tacky.
That's
Yeah,
very
yeah.
classy. Been to Cirque du Soir. Been to like these places that are like that, like or burlesque nights or the Box in London or whatever. Really good. This is like levels above, just unbelievable. And really, everyone in there was on a good level as well.
But do you think, like Romania, I think, are we missing a trick here because we weren't there long?
Yeah, you need to know
and,
people.
you know, Andrew Tate, #1 guy that lives there, that we all know on the internet, you know, he loves it there, and he says it's great. So is there something that we just missed?
I think he likes to live there.
Or do you think
because
he's just got such a good setup there?
It's
that
a
he's
good setup, yeah. I think he's just got. He's basically rules the country. I think he pretty much does. No, because you laugh
he's
at it, but
back.
he's
He obviously doesn't rule the
No, he
country.
does because he's fucking.
Mate.
He's got connections with the government over there.
He's a big spokesman for the country. Yeah, I
yeah,
mean the
he's-
cleaner, you know Anna Maria. She's so nice.
Yeah.
She's from Romania.
Yeah.
And if you ask Romanians if they like him, they normally say, yeah, he's cool because he's obviously putting Romania on the map.
Exactly. Yeah.
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 Well,
not
on
running.
him, I think, I mean, I'll give you, I mean, you know, obviously Andrew Tate now is like, he's kind of resurfing. And I think the interview he did with Piers Morgan, and they just dropped an interview with him on the Full Send boys and the Nelt boys. I think he's actually becoming more likable now than he was before.
Yeah.
Because he's going on these big shows, Piers Morgan. He's having a
looking.
chance to explain himself.
Even
And
though Piers Morgan didn't put him in a good light because he was throwing
Yeah.
little
No, but
things at him. He was trying to like tempt
but
him into saying controversial stuff.
The reciprocal
to-
sort of side of him on there was a lot of people said, oh, actually, you know, Piers Morgan didn't come across as well.
Yeah.
And he came across well because he kind of, I didn't
kept
watch the whole thing,
interrupting him.
but- Yeah, and he was very one-sided, Piers Morgan.
Yeah.
Whereas Tate came in and sort of took in everything he said and came back with a retort.
Yeah.
So
I
is
mean,
he growing on you, do you think, Tate?
The thing is, you can't take, like, I know he says a lot of stuff he's done with clips, but the reason he got big was because of the clips, right? He got everybody to put clips out there, and his whole thing is, well, you only taking everything out of context because you're only watching a small clip of what he said, but he still said it. There are some definitely good things about him, and he's definitely helping in some ways, people and young men specifically, but I also think that he's also I think the way he talks about women in a derogatory way, I think is negative and can impact people badly. So I do see both sides. But you sort of, when you hear people say they've met him, they go, oh, he's really nice. And I can sort of see that. So I think he's got a bit of an online persona because you can just talk about vanilla stuff all day on YouTube. It's not going to get seen. If I say something now really like something Tate would say and be really sort of forward in the way I say it, you're going to get views. So he's obviously done that to materialise views for himself, which is great. But I do think there's dislikable things, and I do think what I don't agree with is when people are like, oh no, or oh yes, you know, when people are like really left or really right. Most people now are going kind of to the centre politically, I think, and it's like that's that's what I think. I'm kind of in the middle. I think some things he says really resonate and are really good, and when he says, you know, get fit, I think he said something like, if you're depressed, if you go and get a six-pack, come back to me and tell me you're still depressed. That's a great thing to say.
Yeah.
Being against the establishment, I think, is pretty good in a lot of ways because COVID's opened everyone's eyes to things. So I think it's some good things. There's a whole sort of thing to go into. I think it's some bad things.
I think he's kind of allowed back on the internet now, isn't he? I mean, he's not
got his own channels, but he's doing lots of podcasts, so it'd be great to get him on here. But he's putting his face back on the market.
I think there's a bit. I think, in my view of him, he's definitely got a character that he hypes up for the podcast and, you know, Top G, all that kind of stuff. But he's probably down to earth, and he's probably quite a nice guy.
But now he's probably got to the point where he's too famous to actually like go out.
Yeah,
and
he's
hang.
got such an influence.
Yeah.
And I think like people call him a misogynistic person, but like no one really knows, like if they try to explain or give an example, no one can really sort of say what he's really said that it's a misogynistic comment. But some of the points that he makes is real, and has a positive outlook.
Yeah.
So I think he's great. I think he's doing really
I think
really good things for the new generation.
I think if you're smart and you are and you can define what you to take on and what not, is good.
Yeah.
I think if you're young and impressionable and don't know and you're calling women bitches and my whores and that, I think which he's sort of, was it, what word did he use? Something like that. I think like hoes or whatever. I think got to be a bit careful with that terminology because I think if you're young and impressionable and you don't know, you'll sort of say that stuff and that's bad. It's going to go one way.
Yeah.
But I do agree there's some really good stuff that he says. Like
if he
some
fights Jake Paul as well, that would be great. That would be like a proper.
Yeah.
Didn't he agree to? He's fighting Logan in UFC.
Is he really?
I think he's. I don't know if it's a clickbait thing, but I think Logan Paul put up, "I've agreed to fight Jake Paul." I've agreed to fight Tate.
I know he saw Jake in Dubai, and they had that little square up meeting. That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
that was quite interesting.
So yeah, what was the next thing? COVID's just gone. Where we're talking about COVID, it's just disappeared. No face masks in airports. No vaccine passport required. No. That's just disappeared. So it's gone. I know no one wants to talk about it because it's kind of boring because everyone got so pulled in by it. But it is happening in other countries. China, there's crazy lockdowns. It's really hard to know exactly what you see because a lot of stuff I'm seeing is on CNBC and big media outlets where they always have a bit of an angle, a massive angle. But it looks pretty horrific what they're doing in China, locking people down for this zero COVID policy.
Yeah.
For me, it disappeared a while ago. It's there was like a very short period of time where I was just into it and following it, and then it was just over. I just didn't really just get hooked in. I just think it's just a bit of a crazy thing.
I think I don't want to disregard all the people that died from COVID and genuinely died from COVID, but I do think it's a load of bollocks. And I think
some people did die for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And but I just think the whole way it was. Like Andrew Tate says, mastered in the system.
Yeah.
We were just all led to believe something, and then they put out these vaccines, and everyone was just like, right, forced to do something that you didn't really know much about.
I spoke to my aunt the other day, and she said, James, I was so scared. I was sitting in my house, I was watching the telly, and I don't blame her.
Yeah.
She was.
They put that fear factor into everybody.
Exactly.
It's just so horrible.
So
now you can't get those 3 years back that we lost.
My big confusion is, how is everything back to normal? It feels like everything's back to normal. We were talking about London. We're in London at the moment. London's booming again. How do people have all this money and they're all fine? It feels like everything's back to normal. So either it is, and the governments, and it was all a bit bullshit, or the repercussions of COVID is going to be a slow hit. In 10 years, it's going to be, the economies are going to
This is my view, right?
This kind of stuff.
It's so preposterous, right, how, like, James Corden did a talk on, singing, take the vaccine, and how, Bill de Blasio, the mayor of New York, how he basically sat down on TV and said, guys, if you have the vaccine, you're going to get a free burger, right? And it's a clear link with obesity and vaccine.
Marketing stunts.
But terribly obvious to any smart person watching, this is absolute propaganda and it's wrong. And now it's come out, which is what a lot of us knew in the first case, that the vaccine actually does not stop transmission. So all the promises that Biden and all these people, whether it's, Boris Johnson, a lot of people who were very sceptical at the beginning knew. Anyone in Eastern Europe. Listen, if you speak to someone from Ukraine, obviously before the war and everything, we got good Ukrainian friends, they would all say it's rubbish. I'm not going to do this.
Or into Mexico, and they just didn't care there.
Mexico City did, but the rest of Mexico didn't.
But why? So why then?
My point. What I'm saying is, a lot of us knew, but now people are finding out. But I feel sorry for China. I really feel for them. Like some of them are like jumping out the balcony, killing themselves, actually happening.
And even them just speaking out, like they shouting and screaming that they want to come out of lockdown. They're getting arrested, beaten up like on the streets. It's just horrible.
And they're so restricted what they can see. But yeah, you're right. Now driving through London is busier than ever. But I think if you turn a ship half a degree every day, half a degree doesn't sound like a lot, but within a very short amount of time, you'll do a complete circle, right?
Yeah.
So
but why though? Why?
What I'm saying is,
do you think
all the changes that have happened. Look how many businesses, every time I go and talk to a production line who are making something, they say we're producing less. Electricity bills are going up, every company I talk to is doing less and less business. That's going to have a massive effect.
Well, all the offices now, they're empty, are being turned into apartments in London, a lot
of them are, but still it's not that simple. And I think what will happen is, I think there's going to be a massive recession.
Yeah.
And I think people are going to be so annoyed for not being able to see their grandparents when they died or whatever it was. I just think it's going to be enormous.
On the flip side, there was like some really positive things that came out of COVID when everybody was in lockdown.
I think
everybody just
one of the best periods of my life.
Yeah, everybody reset themselves. I started up a business. It was just like I changed my career. It was just loads of things like that you just thought, okay, now's the time to do something about whatever you wanted to do in your life. And it was
but I think like
opportunity to
the final thing I want to say on this is like, why did people just fall for something that was wrong and stupid, or is there a higher goal that's going to come?
It depends who you like. Like look at Elon Musk, right? We should touch on Twitter quickly. Like he's sort of Apple have said they might ban Twitter from the App Store, right? Because that's massive. Could you imagine if they just don't allow anyone to download Twitter?
Just because
because the way he's running it, basically, right? And the way he's allowing free speech on the platform, and he's now going against them, Elon Musk, and saying, "Hold on, look, Apple are stopping free speech on their platform, right? So if you look at what Elon Musk says in terms of if that's a person...
And he said, I might do a phone.
You follow. He said, I will never give my kids the vaccine, right? So you've got whether the World Economic Forum, you've got a lot of people that are going and pushing for this massive control. And look how easy it is to make a whole country fearful by the media
That's
controls.
the crazy thing.
Putting everybody in fear and they'll follow what you want. I think we're so lucky that a lot of us came out and were upspoken. I think if we weren't upspoken, we could have gone way, way worse into an Orwellian 1984 thing. I really do think that. Because if everybody works for the government pays everybody furlough, and that happens for everybody, they're going to have the control that they want, and everybody works for So, but again, not to get too conspiratorial, I do think that
That's what I'm saying.
we
What's
were really
the end
lucky.
goal? What's the end goal?
What of these people?
Well, what's the point of it? What is someone trying to achieve? Surely they didn't just close the world down just to say, hey, we can control. We know we can control.
It could be a number of things, like trying to reduce the population of the world. It could be
Why would that reduce the population of the world?
because there's too many people on this planet.
Yeah, but why would lockdown?
Of
Surely population would go up during COVID because everyone's having sex.
If you're looking at sort of a greener world, you're looking at the emissions. You're looking at so many different aspects into how a lot of people on this planet are.
But that's what I'm
corrupting
saying.
the
Life
world.
has gone back to normal, so it hasn't had the effect.
No, but it could have done. I think if there wasn't 2 million people protesting in London, they would show the BLM protests. They wouldn't show any of the COVID protests in London.
Right.
You can think. There's so many things that can drive you mad if you think about what actually happened and how the media controlled it. They didn't want people to see what was going on. So
I like the fact that Elon Musk said when he said if they ban the installation of Twitter, he said I might just make my own phone.
I think that's quality.
He's such a he's just amazing.
Yeah, but more people like him. So then today, Lex Friedman stood up for him, right? And Lex said, yeah, why aren't Apple allowing free speech on their platform? These guys are powerful individuals, right? So the more people that stand up for free speech and all the things that we kind of think it makes a fair society, the more the pendulum's going to go that way. Yeah. And in a way, Tate is on that bandwagon, right? He's pushing that pendulum in the way of free speech, do what you want, da-da-da-da-da. And obviously you've got this other World Economic Forum, politicians, although they're just front men, Rishi Sunak, all these guys are going this way, Justin Trudeau, they're all trying to push for more of a control, because otherwise they don't have a job, do they? So, but it's anyone's guess.
Control.
Yeah, the word control is, like you, it's a loaded word. It's too easy just to say control, isn't it? There's got to be a deeper reason. Thanks very much, Alf. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Anyway,
but that's what I'm saying, like going like linking.
Thank you.
We should have someone talk about it who really
kind of
knows.
linking Andrew Tate to this as well, because he uses the term the Matrix now. My question is why, and is there someone at a higher power that's controlling this, or is there just like a bunch of stupid people that are following things and just going, yeah, we're gonna jump on the bandwagon?
What I don't understand is how, for example, do they get certain people to be so adamant in their thoughts? You'll have like a really well-known actor who you would have respected for a long time, who will go out and say, I believe people should be forced, a mandate should be forced, I believe. Who is going to them and saying this is how it should be?
It's just different opinions. It's the same as a film. You can sit down and I can watch a film that I think is brilliant, and someone else will hate it. I mean, The Irishman is a good example. It's so torn. Every person you speak to about The Irishman, people say they either love it or hate it. It's like it doesn't.
But there's loads of groups right around the World Economic Forum, right, and like at Davos, there's loads of groups like the Deep State, or there's lots of collections of people that are trying to do this, and you hear them talk, and they'll say exactly these sort of things. So, but I think we should have someone on specifically from the World Economic Forum, or someone who can say it rather than our opinions, individual opinions. So the other thing we want to chat about was Twitter, right?
Twitter we've touched upon a little bit.
Okay.
Do you want to go back to the porn on Twitter that you?
No, that just got some views, didn't it?
not as many as the gay men versus gaming.
Yeah.
When James is honest, we get more views. I mean, I think that's it. We're gonna keep. We've got some really good guests coming up. We're gonna keep busy.
Yeah.
We've got some great guests
Did we want to
in
touch on
January.
FTX or not? No.
Crypto's
I
very
guess you
boring.
can find out information about that anyway.
We've been busy. We've been doing conferences and How's the women going, guys? And relationships and stuff like that. All good? Touch on that?
Yeah, we can touch
3
upon
men
that.
talking about women?
I'll be honest. I'll be completely honest. I'm not seeing anyone, and I don't want to see anyone, and I want to be completely on my own because I would like to meet the perfect person if that perfect person exists. But each time I do meet someone, it seems to not work. So I think I need to be in the right headspace and the right place to meet the right good person. Because so I'm just pulling away basically from when I meet someone.
Is that
I'm not like no, but I've met some really nice women in the last sort of few weeks, and I'm just like, I'm actually going to just stay single. And,
are you being too specific because you're trying to find? You know, I say sometimes this, and it works for men and women, but you know, let's say a woman is looking for this perfect man that doesn't exist. 'Cause no one's perfect, right?
Yeah.
Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone fucks up. Are you doing that? Are you looking for someone or something that doesn't really exist?
Well, it's hard to say because in my view, I don't think it's like there's like 3 things I'm looking for, right? And it's like, you know, good morals and that, all those sort of honest and someone I'm attracted to, those sort of things. So it doesn't seem hard, but yeah, maybe I am setting the bar too high in my own mind, right? Which is a good reflection of how you think of yourself in a way. But my issue is, you know, when you're like doing stuff and like you go to the bathroom, what I found is I'm always escaping myself, whether it's going out in the evening, whether it's putting a podcast on, never there on my own. So I'm always looking to be with someone. And I actually crashed my drone the other day outside, and I went downstairs and I thought, who can I phone and FaceTime to see this thing? And I thought, no, you just actually got to be happy on your own.
Yeah.
And
we had a nice chat last night, didn't we?
Yeah.
It was a little bit gay. But it was
Always gay.
Did you
but
hold
no,
each
he
other's
said something that
hands?
was really
Yeah, he
important
did
for
say
him,
that.
and I said that's the best thing you could do. He said I want to learn to love my own company.
Yeah.
And I
said,
think
you just
loving,
don't.
I spoke to this wicked lady, her name's Lorna Wilson. She does quantum healing therapy. And she said love is an overloaded word. Maybe for a guy's not love yourself, just like yourself. So like when I'm doing something and I'm on my own, I'm like, okay, what can I listen to? What can I watch? Who can I speak to? Now it's like, no, actually, I just want to, in that moment, on a Friday when I'm out with friends, go home, watch a movie, and there's just this feeling of like being in your own head where you're kind of half excited.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I'm going to be on my own for a few days or a week. Or
if you be on your own,
sometimes do that
if
for
you
cooking. Like sometimes I'll play like, you know, some oldie music, and but then there'll be times where I'm going to be cooking, doing my preparation, and I'll just do it in silence. And sometimes those thoughts in my head, and it just gives me time to reflect, think about what I've done for the last week or for the past month, what I need to do. So yeah, it's good to reflect and do that.
Well, I mean,
on a regular basis.
I'll be a little bit honest. I love being on my own. I love my own company, and I haven't. This year's been so manic. We were talking about this last night when we go back to where we were in January. Like I was in Mexico, but just what's happened the whole year. Like, you know, so many different things have changed, and all the places we've been to, and all the things that's happened, and going, you know, coming in and out of relationships and all this kind of stuff. And I'm looking at it now, going, how the hell have I done all that or been through that? Because it just seems crazy amount of stuff. So I think now it's the things that I want to fix, or the things I want to sort, or the things I want to change, in my mind require me to be on my own for a period of time, to sit down.
Yeah.
And even just like this whole digital side of, you know, always being on your phones and different things. I think a lot of people need that sometimes. And I think certainly for me, I definitely need to be just on my own for a nice period of time, and you get stuff done, and then you figure out, you know.
Yeah, but also when you're on your own, there's been 2 types of being on your own. There's being on your own and just working non-stop, which I've done loads, whether it's businesses or whatever. But there's being on your own and saying, do you know what, I'm going to sit still.
Focusing on your own, not just being on your own
Not
to
even
work.
focusing on anything, just being in your own company, sort of liking yourself.
Yeah.
Like not, you know, and I asked my friend actually in Malta, I said to her, like, what do you do? She said, like, when she looks in the mirror, she smiles. It's like practical things, like little things like that add up. Or I was reading this book, Stephen Bartlett, my mum put me onto him, Happy, Sexy Millionaire. And he said it wasn't until he realised that, you know, sort of walking around and like being all right in his own head in his own company. And I think then it sounds a bit sort of cheesy, but from a scientific perspective, like the frequency you're kind of at in your own mind is when you probably will find the right sort of person rather than running around. Because otherwise you're sort of chasing.
Yeah.
And I think as guys, I think the chasing thing gets tiring, and it also it can set your head in the wrong path.
And things always change. Like halfway through the year, I never wanted children. I wasn't interested in children. Now I feel like I want children. Not right now, but like I want children.
How are you going to have children?
Adopt them.
Yeah.
Is that what you're going to do? 2 guys can't they?
Yeah.
You
can adopt.
That was a good one. I'll give you that. Me and you should adopt a child, don't we? Because we don't have a child. Do you want more children?
I think I do. Yeah.
Do you want children?
No.
You don't want any?
No.
Not
that
right
might
now.
change.
Not right
When you
now.
reflect on yourself, that might change. Do you reckon?
My friend Lulu, she said to me the other day, like she's never thought about having kids, and she's like, James, I'm thinking like of like having a surrogate mother and having kids, and she's never, you know, I never thought she would want kids because she's kind of like quite an arm's length person. But no, I keep on thinking about it, but it's not. I think it's something you've got to have grown up wanting to have, because it's a lot of work, man. You can't underestimate, how much
It depends
work.
on who you're with as well. I think if you
Yeah.
have a sort of solid relationship and you're both on the same pathways and you're not on the same path, but you're not sort of fine to still get to know each other and you want different things, but you sort of learn about that later on in the relationship, then you just don't really know what you want. I suppose like similar to your ex relationship, where you didn't know whether you wanted kids or not, but now that you're single, you do.
It kind of depends. Yeah, it depends on the person, and it depends on my point of view. Is like, I feel like at some point I will need to have something to really love and cherish and grow and focus on. Otherwise, I'm just I'm just going to keep working. I'm just going to keep working and coming up with ideas and doing films and this and that, and then I'll be like 45, and I'll just be like, okay,
It's not far how you look.
What? Yeah, you're about the age.
I look 45.
What
All right,
if-
well, I'll be 50, 55, and I'll
What if
go,
you
now I
create-
want children, and I can't.
What? No, you can. And what if you create something that's incredible that helps more than the 3 children that you would have?
Because I don't want to sound arrogant, but I've felt like I've created something that's great in lots of aspects and given time and energy and all
What?
that kind of stuff. Just lots of things. Lots of things.
What have you created is great.
Just lots of things. But
Give
when
me
you
one example.
wait there, but when you, I'm just saying,
business-wise.
let's say business, a film, prize fight, whatever. But then if you create a human that you're responsible for breathing and living, you
They
can't,
breathe on their
you
own,
know.
but yeah. No, I think it's like I think
They breathe on their own. Really?
children are sometimes like an ego thing. It's like, I just want another one.
Well,
of
that's
me.
it. I've got to be careful. That's the one thing I want to say. I want to be careful that I'm not just doing it at this point in my life because of I'm not just thinking like this at this point in my life because of the ego thing.
Yeah.
But for the only man on this table to have a child, I've got to say you find a love within yourself that you never had for somebody else.
Over Zoom.
When was the last time you saw your child?
Yeah, obviously.
How many years?
It's 3 years. That's because of COVID. But
Didn't you just go to America?
Yeah, I used to go every year.
No, didn't you just go?
No.
I thought you said Jay was going to America.
came on the European
I'm
trip
going
instead.
this hopefully this.
Okay.
He came on the European trip instead with us.
Okay.
Yeah, but you do find a profound love for another human being, and that you don't realise that's within you. And you just think.
This is gonna sound corny,
Yeah,
but I've had it with an
this.
animal
But if
before.
you ask a lot of guys, like if they would have kids after they've had them, if you ask them secretly when there's no one listening, they'll go,
No, disagree with that. I met with three friends of mine from university. They're all my age. They've all got 2 kids each, and they were like, "It's the best thing ever." Would you have more? Yeah. How many? 4 or 5? Like that. I mean, it doesn't
Okay.
apply to the general population.
Okay.
And everyone says to me, "You've always got to ask the woman about the kids because obviously women have a different experience to men because they have to, do a lot more." But all right. Well, that was nice.
Yeah, it's good.
Little catch up.
So we've got Eddie Hall coming on, which is amazing, and then we've got another physically big.
Yeah.
guest.
Yeah.
He's fucking massive.
But yeah, we're gonna do a season. So this will wrap up season 1.
Well, that's what we want to know,
and
don't we?
then,
We're thinking of wrapping on like 15 episodes
Yeah.
as a season.
Yeah.
Have a bit of a break, couple of weeks off. Release some of exclusive content that has been released. Pick up some episodes on stuff that we've shared before.
Yeah.
Really tune up the socials.
And
then
we
come
would
back.
like your feedback as well. I think we'd like to see what you think in comments and stuff. If you think we
Mum.
should change anything, what?
Mum, please.
No, Mum's always just going to say it's good. Is that what you mean? No, just what you think because you're subscribed, and if you think there's anything we should change.
What you want to see
guests.
more of? Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
good. All right, cool. Nice little boys only pod.
Yeah, I think we do more of these. People will start to like us.
Everything you said was good
And
up
you say
until
I'm
then,
gay. I
Jay.
know, so good. Anyway, like, subscribe. Eddie Hall next week. We're out. Hand in the middle.
Look at that gay touch.
Just a gay little. This is a nice little.
This is a gay little.